Good afternoon, everyone. Again, a very warm welcome to our Logical Talk series. Uh, this time, as you know, we are bringing a very important topic. So I'll keep the introduction very short because we want to spend more and more time in this discussion. Uh, we'll start with the introduction slide. By the time more people are joining, and I see the numbers are double in the last 2 minutes. So I'm assuming that people will take another 2-3 minutes. So we'll use this time to do a quick introduction, as you already are aware of about us. So Logbit is India's leading regulatory technology service provider. We provide a range of regulatory technology solutions. Primarily of it is GCMS, which many of you are already using, are aware of. It's called Global Compliance Management Solution, which helps you manage your regulatory compliance obligations across all laws in India and globally. As we speak, we have done projects in 70 plus countries. We are serving right now more than 650 entities and mapped their 4,000 plus locations and 15,000 plus users. A team of 125 plus legal and tech professionals. I think we need to update these numbers. And as you would have seen a small change in the slide, some more names, some more products have been added. So we beyond GCMS, beyond the legal matter management, enterprise risk management, and solutions. We have recently launched or introduced some more range of products because that's a requirement which we were getting from a lot of our clients. Solution called Scabit. That's specifically meant for company secretaries. I'm assuming there will be lesser of company secretaries today. This is secretarial automation, compliance automation, and board intelligence solution, which will help you manage your complete end-to-end compliances for a company for a secretarial functions, managing your minutes, agendas, board meetings, and everything what happened from here. Your controls and audit management solution, which is then your legal matter management and risk and control management specifically. That's another range of products. These are the few new solutions which we have introduced. Compliance health checks. Again, that's a service line which we are getting a lot of requirement or attraction from our clients and the market in general. So this is a quick about ourselves, and let's get started with the agendas of the discussion. As I see that numbers have increased. Okay, so let's get quickly started with a quick introduction about our speakers today. So as I welcome Mr. Deshmukh, sir, a very warm welcome and thank you so much for being here. So as we were discussing yesterday, so on a lighter note, when we discuss, as I said, how do I introduce? So Mr. Tushar said, just give 2 words, Deshmukh and fire. People would know. So more of a James Bond kind of an introduction, sir. Pleasure to have you here. More and more I hear you, more and more I talk to you, more I get inquisitive about knowing and learning from your experiences. Sir comes with loads and loads of experience and understanding. I think when possibly I didn't even know what the world and life is. Sir was talking about fire and fire safety and spreading awareness across Maharashtra. He was director of Maharashtra Fire Services, and today he is the force behind Fire Safe India Foundation, creating awareness and best practices about fire safety across India. And I think this has become a very, very important topic. And sir, shared some very relevant experiences and some thoughts how this entire thing should be seen. And I'm sure, sir, it will come out today in our discussion. Looking forward to hearing and learning more from you. And I also want to welcome Mr. Tushar Bhattacharyya. He's currently the Chief Safety Officer with Tata Power. Mr. Tushar again comes with more than around 4 decades of career, spanning across different clients or different organizations. He's a veteran. Started his career with the Air Force, and from there to corporate, and here in his he's worked with airports, India, Bangalore Airport, Changi, Bosch, GE, now Tata Projects, and now with Tata Power. Mr. Tushar brings a lot of experience, and he is one of the rare, who has got, who has got a very professional degrees also in the same subject. So, Mr. Tushar, excited to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and thank you so much for being a part of this discussion today.
Thank you, Shant, and thank you, Deshmukh sir, and thanks, Lorvit, for giving us this opportunity to share us our experience. So very, very vast and wide experience of Deshmukh sir and my working experience. I feel the viewers are definitely enriched with our experience. It is morely of sharing of experience of our decadal experience. So in these sessions, we have divided this particular subject in eight logical ones. So learning recent fire incidents, then fire safety regulatory framework in India. Now NBC 2016 is everybody knows. Now this has come to NBCS 26, and you will be happy to know that our esteemed speaker Deshmukh sir is one of the convener of the NBCS 2026, and I was contributor for the NBC 2016. And fire safety compliances, preventive fire safety buildings, how to do conducting fire safety audits and responding the fire emergencies, and how to recover from the emergencies, because we have had recently a number of fire incidents in Mumbai, Delhi, and other places. And we'll discuss, and Taj Hotel incidents also. We'll discuss how fast we can recover from the incidents, and the fire safety in compliance improvement roadmap, how to prepare our fire safety compliance improvement roadmap for the statutory compliance as well as for the life safety matters. This is the agenda. Now I request Deshmukh sir if you can add further value addition, sir.
Thank you, Bhattacharyya ji, and Mr. Jayan, for introducing me to the very elite kind of audience and saying very good words about me. So that is a little adverse pressure on me. I may be senior in my own domain, but as far as you law professionals are concerned around, I look at you, I mean, I am much junior to you all. And in your domain, you are quite senior people sitting around. But ultimately, we have to blend many things together and see that what best we can converge. My apologies in advance that I have a little habit of diverging the topics, but my another expertise is whatever I divert, I will ultimately see to that it is converged and brought on the table to see that it benefits to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So let's get deeper into the discussions today. So as Bhattacharya sir mentioned about the recent fire incidents, and while I was preparing for this discussion, I was actually thinking, I said, how the memory works. Recently, if we talk about the fire incidences, the Delhi fire incidents, the Palam residential fire incidents, and the Lucknow coaching center incidents, it's very fresh in our memories. We have a lot to say about it, and then suddenly I saw with these incidences, at least whatever nearby I saw in UP, I saw in Rajasthan, I saw in Haryana, J&K, the fire safety department, the government has become super active in looking at the compliance with the fire safety norms and regulations. But then I was thinking about it. Is it just now this situation has happened? No, I think there were so many incidences in the past also. When these incidents happen, governments in that city, that state, surrounding city, state, they suddenly get very active. People get very active. We'll see a lot of work around it, and then everything starts fizzling down. And then again, we wait for our next big tragedy to happen, and we start looking at it. As I always say, compliance is a boring work. And fire safety is a more boring work because we say nothing happens, so why should I worry about it? But when it happens, unlike any other non-compliance, this doesn't leave any chance for you. You can't. Yesterday we were talking about how you can restart, and I think that's what Bhattacharya sir also mentioned. I think this is fire safety incidents is one issue. After that, maybe restarting sometimes becomes impossible because the place becomes non-usable. There are loss of your goods, loss of machinery, maybe loss of death, lives also. In such scenario, this becomes a crime scene, and for months and years, that it gets locked up. So you suddenly become zero. If I do a non-compliance in my tax filings or any other filings, I know I can pay some fine, face some penalties, and can get over with this. Here, it's not about non-compliance; it's about being compliant in principle, not just to show that I have my my license, the registration in place. I think I think we are going to get deeper into the discussion from those thought process, because while I understand the audience we have, you're all from the enterprises, you're all responsible for the fire safety for your factory, for your organizations, for your warehouses, for your offices. But beyond that, also beyond being compliant on paper, how do we ensure that we are compliant in spirit also, while understanding the legal nuances, legal obligations also from the central sides, state side, and some kind of best practices also.
Jayant, you are very right. Recently, we have had experienced many fire incidents. It's Delhi, Lucknow, Delhi, and other places in Kota also is in mind. But the first fire incident in India that sensitized the people, that is 1993 Upahar pictorial fire incident at Delhi. Okay. Then after that, there are few fire incidents where the nations alerted. That is Kaltan Tower fire incident, Bangalore. And one more I remember fire incidents is in Kolkata, one super specialty hospital, AMRI hospitals fire incidents. So, few of the occasion I was part of the investigation committee. Some of the occasions on my personal interest, I have seen this case studies and all. Now, after every fire incidents, let us take a latest Delhi Malaviya Nagar case, Kota, Lucknow coaching center, and all. The first questions come whether this building has taken NOC or not. This is the first questions comes. Now, second questions comes. Okay, people have taken the NOC for the building, but whether it has deviated from the NOC conditions or not. Okay. Now, risk and approval. So it is, we have seen this recurring complaints gap across incident. All the incidents, I mentioned 2, 3, here 2, 3 is written, and Deshmukh sir will tell us how many fire incidents he has encountered in his lifetime as a Director General and Maharashtra Fire Services. So basically, people are very proactive to get the NOCs, because that is the license for the occupancy for them to run the show, to run the business. After that, what are the conditions they have mentioned? They are abide by for getting the NOCs. After that, they are not obeying or they are not maintaining the conditions. This is actually the one of the big gaps what we understood. Then fast risk assessment gaps. Then some of the cases expired or missing NOCs. They have taken one NOC. After that, they forget to renew it and never they have applied for the reassess. Then occupancy use changes. Suppose the building is a for mercantile building or business building or whatever building it is, assembly building, whatever it is. But suddenly this has changed. Even in the case of last 2, 3 fire incidents, I don't want to name, that buildings as intended for one type of businesses, but it has later changed to different type of uses. That is also a criteria. Even nowadays, the kitchen services in basement or rooftop kitchens, rooftop restaurants and all, many cases it has not mentioned in the NOCs. Then unwanted accumulation, combustible accumulation in basement and blocking of the staircases. This is also now staircases and lift lobby. We have seen they make it as a storeroom. This is actually the deviation of the consideration, and the occupancy change also evident. Now, the engineering controls like your fire preventive system or fire protective system, either it is a hydrant system, sprinkler system, fire detection system, then electrical load occupancy, load test, then preventive maintenance is doing or not. This is also there. So for once, people are setting up the hydrant network, people are setting up the detection system, people are displaying the fire extinguishing, but there are some other cases fail to maintain it. So the purpose, the objective is defeated, and it's a failure of the engineering control. Then evacuation readiness, you might have, we'll discuss in later slides. Deshmukh sir will discuss this NBC provision for the route, fire escape route, egress, egress, and all. The staircases, then pressurization. Most of the cases we find in supermarkets, you will see the staircases on exit, it is locked. And in cases I have seen in picture also, it is a locked. So block staircases, because for the security reason, they locked it. So this is reason. Then there is no, says 40% people should be fire trained, but in practical, you see no one has a trained as a fire, only they are depending on the security staff. Then assembly point, there is a concept of the assembly point, people should go and give the head count. But this is only a name shake. There is assembly points. Actually, people don't know where to go, how to go, especially the public places. Operational assurance, that for fire safety, we should have the regular maintenance system for the fire protection system, for the fire detection system, fire extinguishers and others. And we should maintain the rules, the audit records and all. But most of the cases, either inspection done, record does not kept, or the inspection not at all done. Sometimes the insurer are doing the inspection, but it's not being done in many places. There are on audit, there are few observations on fire safety, but people are not very proactive to close that observation. Now, owner and occupier is a big question. Suppose it's a mall or multi-level car parking, where the different people are occupying in this thing. But who is the owner of the particular portion? It is very difficult to government to identify, or the fire department. So, in a nutshell, in a summary, Jayant, what happened? What are the fire incident you have told in recent days? This is actually the cause. Either they have not considered, not maintained the NOC consideration, or that is bypassed, or the rules and regulations are not followed, and they are not upkeep or maintained their system. This is actually the root cause for all of the incident, Jayant.
So you mentioned one thing, occupier and owner. So there is one common challenge which also comes, that I'm a tenant in an office premise, or a factory or warehouse I have taken on rent. Now, in this scenario, the owner of this property has not taken precautionary measures, or required infrastructure they have not built. Now, what do I do in that scenario? Who is the one responsible for these fire safety norms?
Right, very good question. See, Jayant, in most of the fire NOC or in fire rules and regulations, state regulation and all, it is mentioned owner or occupier. This is the things. Suppose the building belongs to particular one agency, they are sublet it. They are not sold to you, they are sublet it. They have taken a fire NOC for complete the building. Then after that, a portion is lent to you. They will ask you, but the mother fire protection system, like fire hydrant, fire sprinkler, fire detection system, is provided by the owner of the building. But now you are an occupier of the particular portion. The responsibility lies with the owner of that particular building. Deshmukh sir, any your thought on this?
Instead of putting my thoughts, which we have churned out a lot, and since this question was not expected now, but I will, if you don't mind, I will read out the provision in my act.
Yeah.
The Maharashtra Fire Act. It says the occupier includes any person who for the time being is paying or it is liable to pay to the owner the rent or any portion of the rent for the land or building or any part thereof in respect of which such rent is paid to the paid or is payable. And owner is owner in occupation of or otherwise using the land or the building or part thereof. Rent-free accommodations, live and license premises, a member of the cooperative housing society, any person who is an association or corporation of the like condominiums and apartments and all that. And the owner includes a person who for the time being is receiving or is entitled to receive the rent of any land or the building or part thereof.
Yes.
So in term, there are so many things you can refer to the act later on, but we have covered everybody under the occupier. But a basic definition is we have taken as an occupier. But who can be the occupier? I'll give a very glaring example of the Mantralaya fire in Mumbai, which most of you must have seen the footage. So there is a question, who is the occupier of that building? And a lot of officials were taken for task. I was also one of them because the softer target is the best target to any government during such crisis. But they found it little hard. So there I mentioned that the owner or the occupier, the definition is elaborate. So according to that, I requested by the then Chief Secretary, sir, I have a limited exposure and knowledge. You are the right person to interpret this, or we can call our Secretary Law and Judiciary Department. They called him and they were shocked. It was the Chief Secretary because the entire occupation goes in the name of the office of the Chief Secretary. The Chief Secretary who was conducting the inquiry, who himself was the owner, occupier and responsible for all these matters.
Yes.
So that is why we have put this definition after a lot of thinking and a lot of thought process and how people will play. Similarly, I will request the audience and the elite class of people here. So the building definition also, there were a lot of challenges. So we have brought all the occupancies, like even the temporary pandals, then your gas pipelines, gas installations, petrol pumps, we have defined. So I remember, it's in a lighter vein, but factual. One of the secretaries, how can you call a petrol pump and the gas lines as a building? Then my advisor, who was also ex-principal secretary of Law and Judiciary Department and Drafting Department, he said, see, in the law, if we define cow as a bull also, then that becomes for the purpose of that act as a bull. So let us not argue on that. And they withdrawn their argument. There was a lot of resistance to get this legislation. So through that process, I learned. So this is what we have covered the building. When there were gas lines passing through the country areas like the paddy fields and all those. So whether that requires, but then finally we came to a conclusion that the gas pipelines will not indulge too much, but your stations, those compression stations, you must have the adequate provisions. So wherever there is a life threat or life for the fire or explosion or that kind of a situation is there, we have to have that included. So that is how we made it comprehensive.
True.
Anything else, Mr. Jain, from me?
No, thank
Now
you, sir.
for
In
the
fact, one thing which you said, the definition, I always keep insisting to everyone. I said, when you're reading a law, don't read the text, read the definition also. Most of the time, the hidden truth lies in the definition.
Yes.
Then the context, then the text also. And
Yes,
sir, for a discussion's sake, when we have compiled the library of laws in India, only the corporate laws are 2,600 laws and rules. There are 125,000 plus definitions repeatedly
right.
used. Okay, maybe a one word has been used differently under different laws, under different rules. Maybe Assam is defining it differently, and Maharashtra is defining it slightly differently. So you have two operations in similar operations in two different states. Maybe you will be exempted one at one place and another covered in another place. That's that's very important to understand how the words have been defined and by that particular regulator where you are falling in. A very interesting part, sir. Thank you. So, sir, Deshmukh sir, I request you to please throw some light on this.
Yes, I will. Thank you. See, the NBC, first NBC version in India took birth in 1970. And the reason for that was a major State Bank of India fire in Mumbai. And there are some high rises. High rises those days were, like 10-storied or 15-storied building. Now they have become low rises, and the high rises are minimum 70-meter and above, like that the high rise buildings are there. So the State Bank of India fire, and then Express Tower fire, and then the one fire in Delhi. So after that, the government thought that there has to be some code and standard in practice. And therefore, the first version of the National Building Code came in, I will not say came in force, but it was published in 1970. The another was on 1983, and then was a 93, and then it was straightway 2005, and then after 2005 was 2016 and 16, and now we are embarking on 2026. So this is the process of evolution. Internationally, if you see, their building codes are updated maximum not less than, not more than 2 years. Here, if you see the pace of our development is on an average 10 to 12 years, we come with a new edition. So obviously you can see the pace of development going on and the pace of codal practices being improved. So there's a big gap in that itself. Now we'll be discussing after some time about the NBC 2026. But NBC is a recommended document, and fire being a state subject under the Article 243W, and it is enlisted in the state list. The state governments only can make the legislation. And entry 12 of the 74th Amendment, if you read that, it is written as a municipal responsibility. But they have given a prerogative to the state government. It is a discretion of the state government which services state should operate, or they should delegate to the municipal bodies. So in India, majority of the states, they have now the state fire service umbrella. Few states have the hybrid kind of a mechanism, like Maharashtra, Gujarat. Some states are completely depending on the municipalities, like Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab. These few states are depending on the directly delegating to the municipalities. Maharashtra and Gujarat, I said hybrid because there's a Directorate of Fire Services. The Directorate of Fire Service overseeing the functions of the municipal bodies. Director himself is an appellate authority for the all 350 municipal bodies and other planning authorities in Maharashtra. And Gujarat also the same pattern is being followed. But day-to-day function is entrusted to the municipal bodies. Every district in Maharashtra, there is one representative of the directorate, and he oversees the quality, response, all those things of the municipal fire services. So it is, I call it a little hybrid. And it was earlier, it was very heterogeneous. Still it is heterogeneous. Some places municipal bodies, some places state government, some places state government. Earlier, when the state government fire service is the first provincial fire service of West Bengal, from Mr. Bhattacharya's home state, 1950 they came with the provincial fire service. And then all 5 south states, they came with the state fire services. And that is how it started. Delhi also after 84, they came as a state fire service. Maharashtra in 2006. So earlier I was in favor of having the mammoth organization at the state level and the districts and talukas and all those places to be covered. But then the problem happened that most of the state fire services are they are deputing the police officers to administer the fire service. So the professionalism somewhere it lacks. The spirit of the fire services, that also it brings little demotivation in the fire professionals. And therefore, I found the Maharashtra model is little better, where they will not try to unnecessarily indulge into our business. So that was the thought process, and it is successful for last at least 15, 16 years. So this is how is the BIS codes and electrical standards. CEA, Central Electrical Authority, has come with a good regulation that is based on the BIS and CEA, their code standards going absolutely in hand, but CEA becomes regulatory, whereas BIS becomes recommendatory. That is a major challenge. Then we'll talk about the State Fire Service Acts, which I mentioned before we embarked on this. Municipal building bylaws. See, Government of India has given a model building bylaws. In National Building Code Part 3, it speaks about the building bylaws. But they are again a model. And the state government and the different municipalities can make their own bylaws or the development control rules. Some municipalities, they call it development control rules. Some municipalities, they call it the building bylaws. Building bylaws that gives the flexibility to the respective states and the municipalities to see the terrain conditions, urbanization, industrial zoning, green zones, residential zones, and they can make the master plan, and according to the master plan, they can give the hazard classification they can consider, and they do. That is the philosophy. But our municipalities will find next to industry, just the hardly 10-20 meters distance, you will find some industry also. And that is unfortunate. But that is the philosophy behind this. So this is in nutshell. If you want me to elaborate more, Mr. Jain.
I think that this was a good insight. And I think when we move to NBCS, I think I will need a lot of your inputs there as well, because that's important.
I would suggest one thing. If we can give more time for the questions from the people, or any questions, those I have received few questions. Those, if we can address, maybe customer satisfaction at the customer's cost. Here you are not charging any cost, but the time is also a very precious cost,
Yeah.
So we'll do that, sir. I'll keep asking those questions in between. As wherever I see that's the right time to ask this question, I'll keep asking those.
Oh, so Deshmukh Sahab, when you are enlightened on NBC, NBCS, and BIS code, CEA, State Fire Services, Municipal Building Bylaws, these are the very beautiful enlightenment. But I just would like to touch upon few other things also, where our esteemed customers are engaged. That is PESO, factory and workwear factories diversity. See, PESO actually, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. This is actually the legal framework of different rules and regulation, like Explosives Act, we know, Petroleum Act, Gas Cylinder Rules, SMPV rules, then Explosive Rules 2016 is amended. Like I said, new, you cannot do any firecrackers and within the 50 meters of the hospitals and schools. Then calcium carbonate rules, then ammonium nitrate rules. There are different rules is governed by the one legal framework, that is a PESO, and that is why it's PESO and hazardous material. So it is mainly the petroleum industries, explosives industries, chemical industry, some extent is a fertilizer industries also. So they are governed by the PESO rules and regulations. Whether the manufacturing facilities and factories, they're governed by the Indian Factories Act 1948, Section 38. That is the fire safety regulation mentioned in the Factories Act. So here in Factories Act, it is mentioned what level of fire protection system is required, what are the fire preventive sections required, whether the what are the life safety measures required. So if you see, everywhere, either it is a residential building, business building, mercantile building, hazardous building, petroleum storage or hazardous industries, or it is a manufacturing industries and factory. Our country is governed by our country's fire system is governed by any one of the laws here. So I don't think here, like NBC's State Fire Services, BIS, and Factories Act and PSOs, and they are by and large covering all types of industries, and what every categories of building at categories is in NBC. So this how this system works, frameworks was. So actually, I'm telling you in front of a person who himself is a creator of the fire NOC system was Deshmukh sir. So actually, the provisional fire approval, thus this thing will go. Someone is will apply with a building plan. Then for provisional fire licenses, he will set up the fire protection system. He will submit the completion certificates. Then fire department will come. They will inspect the building. If any observation, you have to fulfill those observation. Then the occupancy certificate is issued. Then after occupancy system, at a certain period of time, it is supposed to be renewed after the inspection. So this is actually the complete framework for getting the fire safety licenses. Some are it is said fire safety NOC, whatever it is. But actually the aim is to get the occupancy certificate from the government. And as soon as you are getting occupancy certificate, then this building is fit or ready for the occupancy actually. So this is a shared responsibility for all, and the compliance outcome is that that we have to prevent the ignitions, limit or fire on smoke sprayed, for enabling the safe evacuation of your passengers, and support the fire protection system. And in case anything goes wrong, any accident incident, you have to maintain the evidences and we have to record it. So fire NOC is actually is a legal authorization to occupy the business. So it is not the enter the compliance system actually. After fulfilling certain conditions on the you are getting the fire NOC, but it is not the actually enter the compliance system. Maybe other things also involved. Jayant, anything you would like to add here?
No, sir, I think there are a couple of follow-up points, but we are going to cover a few of them in the coming slides. So
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
possibly ask there. Yeah, so this is also one of the question, rather not just one, couple of questions from our audience also, which I think we'll touch upon in this slide. So, Bhattacharya sir, you want to?
Yeah, this statutory compliance checklist. So what type of buildings, what type of compliance you should follow or you should abide by or adhere. So there are different types of as per NBC, there are different types of people, different types of building. So let us take factories. Factories comes under Group G building. So here the key governing status, as I mentioned in my previous slides, that Factories Act 1948, Section 38. So in Section 38, it is given all the what are the fire protection system, preventive system that one should follow it is. Then next is some of the states have their own factory rules also. So factory rules nothing but the description from the Factories Act also, or some of the things is added. Just I remember in Gujarat, for the salt manufacturing industry, for the salt manufacturing, they have amended their, they have framed their rule also for the salt manufacturing because of the occupational threat of the particular people. Then Petroleum Act 1934 and rules. So Petroleum Act and one, but in case any petroleum storage area and explosives and other things, so the special guidelines and the Petroleum Act is in place. Then mandatory fillings and clearance, it is everyone knows that Form A1, a structural stability certificate, State Fire Force NSC. For getting the fire NOC, we have to get the structural certificate from the structural engineers. Then only the stability is, then fire NOC issued. Then PESO licenses, everybody knows PESO license is required for set up petrol pump. And some of the places I have seen, some of the factories, they are putting their own petroleum or gas storage. For them, they are taking also fire license. Annual NOC renewal is required. Biannual pressure vehicles test from the competent authority, that is also requires. Now comes under hotels. Hotels in NBC 2016, there is a special provision for the hotels. It says comes under building category A5 and A6. So here the State Fire Safety Acts on rules, it is applicable. Some of the cases like Mumbai, the Mumbai Fire rules, then NBC Part 4, then Fire and Life Safety chapter, Part 4, that is also applicable. So that for that mandatory fillings or clearance, commercial trade license required, structural stability required, and one more thing I will mention here, that FSSAI authorization also required for the hotels. Then annual renewal and biannual random audit checks, it is required. Now, some of the cases I have seen in Indian hotels, they are auditing their own hotels within a year and say cross-functional audit they are doing. That is their own initiative. Then warehouses, nowadays you see the warehouses is mushrooming in India after this, all these e-card businesses and all. And it's a considerable risk and threat for the life safety because it's a huge one. So it's categorized as a Group H building. Same NBC 2016 Part 4. You can refer the Table 7. State Warehouse Development Regulation and Act also somewhere there. That compartmentation layouts. Then in warehouses, this is one more risk is the storing risk and height of the compartments. That is also is there. The storage license, structural load is required. Then prior to cargo stocking, annual system test. Now in warehouses, where the warehouse situated inside an airport, that cargo warehouses and all, they have to take different types of licenses. So these are the then in commercial and building or in mercantile building also, Substance Establishment Act is applicable, and there's State Fire Prevention Law, and occupation certificate is mandatory. Emergency Escape Approval Plan, it is actually part of the NOC and fire NOC. Then annual fire NOC result. This is actually the statutory compliance checklist for this group of building giant. And this is actually the whole and basically this type of buildings, NBC's Petroleum Act, sometime Electricity Act also applicable here for this building also. Thanks, Jan. This is actually for this.
Sir, one quick question on this. Sir. Now, one is I have to take an NOC. Second is obviously these have to be renewed every year. Now, what are the typical challenges you see the organization face during this renewal? Because today, because of the change in business, change in requirement, you end up making some mandatory required changes over the year, which is business compulsion. So what are those few challenges, and what you should take care of?
For today, I'm obtaining the NOC, fulfilling certain conditions. Okay, I have declared certain conditions. After getting an NOC, there are many people are there. They are altering their building plan actually. Okay, sometimes they are changing their fire protection system itself. So when you are going to get the renewal, then again the re-inspection happened. In Mumbai, I think Deshmukh sir can tell us better. Some authorized third party is doing the inspections for getting renewals also. So challenges then come when the original LOC conditions has changed. Okay, suppose building height has increased, parapet height has decreased, or the refuse area has become a storeroom. Okay, some staircases has occupied, some basement for car parking, they have made one kitchen. So when this type of layout changes, then it's a challenge because again you have to resurface. Otherwise, originally with the conditions you are getting the initial NOC, if you are maintaining the status, there won't be any challenges. Very easy after getting inspection. This is the practical experience, Jan.
Thank you, sir. And sir, there's a quick follow-up question. Are these requirements, norms applicable for small and medium-sized businesses also?
Deshmukh sir, this is the right
Say,
question
the
for you.
building buildings below 15 meters. Now we are trying to make it 24 meters. Those are not the commercial or business buildings. For them, we don't insist for the fire approvals, residential buildings also. Above that, all buildings, and under the municipal laws, there is something called a trade license. Somebody is setting a small shop of say 300 square feet or 400 square feet, and activity requires a trade certificate, and trade certificate, trade license authority of the concerned municipality, they think that there is some hazardous activity, and then even the small uh, eating house where they see there's a use of gas, the use of other things, then they insist for the fire approval. And there's a specific fire approval. It is not for the entire building. It is only for that much of occupancy, because many restaurants of 400, 500, 700 square feet also, there are major fires and more casualties, because they make the mezzanine floor. People go up, below there's a kitchen. So something that happens. So that is why they insist for. About the renewal part, let me tell you what we have started now. In Maharashtra, this renewal business practically we have stopped, because the cases of renewal are umpteen in number and the officers are very limited in number. And then if you have no time to go and inspect, there's a probability of little black hole there, and purpose is getting defeated. So we said that we have licensed certain fire contractors, and the license agency has to give a certificate saying fitment certificate of the existing systems in the month of January and July. So they have to give complete details. Now, if there is a change of use of the building, then obviously it is not a prerogative of the fire department. Fire department can report to the concerned authority there is a change of use. In that case, they have to submit their plans to the authority for change of use permissions, alterations in the building, those permissions, and that permission, then what activity is going to come, those architectural drawings will they are submitted to us, and on that basis, whatever the fire system is designed, that we recommend. In case if you are changing this building from residential to hotel, or say the residential building to a hospital building, then now no more it is a residential building. The challenge comes actually where there's a multi-occupancy building. The same building you have the hospital, the nursing home, same building you have some commercial hub, mercantile hub, and same building there are even residences above. So there also we apply the multi-occupancy building provisions in the National Building Code. So that is how we do it. And now about the sustenance of those systems, that helps. And now if you see, at least in Maharashtra, most of the even residential buildings, they appoint the annual maintenance contractor. And the annual maintenance contractor is held responsible for giving that 6 monthly certification about the fitness of the systems. So that helps, that becomes more transparent. The responsibility lies with the owner occupier of the building, and also the license agency which is under the license. And if they give any wrong certification, and under section 5 of that, of course, there is enough authority with the fire department to go and inspect the building. If somebody has given a false certificate or they are not satisfied, like random inspection. That philosophy we borrowed from the income tax provisions, that you file your returns through directly or through your chartered accountant, and randomly there could be a scrutiny. So that is how we did. Third thing we have done now, which will take little time for implementation, but the provision we have made, that provision is entire fire system has to be IoT based. If there is no water in the tank, there will be alarm or there will be indication. Gradually, we want to integrate that with the fire department's control room. If there is no enough pressure in the pipelines, then also that will give indicator. The detection system, if there is any flaw, that also will give indication. So otherwise, what happens? There is a fire occurrence, fire department goes on the site, and people blame the fire departments. But there are cases where we have come across, like one Vignartha building, Avigna building in the Mumbai central Parel area, where there was no water in the tank. There's no water in the tank. The huge system they are put up there, spending crores of rupees. It's of no use. Then people think that the fire department's hoses and this to be used and fire to be. That is not possible because our pumps have a capacity of maybe maximum 10-meter head. So there are people pumps with 20-meter head, 40-meter head, but we cannot go beyond that. So our hose streams will not reach on the 30th floor and the 40th floor. So we depend on the standpipes or the wet risers in the building, and those wet risers are dry because then we try to pump in the water in the tanks by using our bowsers, and in a traffic situation to mobilize those bowsers and pumping those tanks, and then pick up that water by utilizing the pumps. Sometimes the pumps are down, pumps are not in auto condition. So that entire we are trying to mandate the IoT based system. That is how we are doing it. But renewal is of course a challenge where there is a demand by the different legislations, like Nursing Homes Act, the hospitals. They demand that every year you have to get a renewal from the fire department. Then it is need based. But otherwise we have removed that system, and that is helping to the people. It has become more user friendly to the society also. And of course, under Section 5, we can anytime inspect the building. It's not necessary that there is a Form A or Form B. We can inspect the building and give the notice. And also there is a law is very modest. We have said that we will give you maximum 120 days to rectify your system. If not, then we will not go immediately into prosecution. We have said that in our legislation there is a provision. We can even cut off their water supply or the power supply. These are the central laws. Many people think that you cannot cut anybody's power or water because the Water Act and the Electricity Act doesn't allow you to do that. But we have made that provision, and we have got the approval from the central government, administrative approval, because of the repugnancy between the state law and the central law. So we have got that done, and that is why our law enjoys the presidential assent, not only the governor's assent, but the presidential assent, though it is a state law. So that is how we have made some provisions. Idea is not to harass people. Idea is to create deterrent in the society. Any law for that matter, purpose is the deterrence. Pain is that for various reasons, the number of prosecutions are very limited. And about the conviction rate, what I can talk, you are the law experts, many of you. So you would know what is the conviction rate in India, especially of the criminal cases. So, yeah, so you know better. And therefore, any law, there is no deterrent in the society, unfortunately. I said you prosecute 10 people, bring to the proper conviction up to 1 or 2 cases, and see to that there is a wide publicity of that. He mentioned about the Upahar case. Upahar case, these Ansal brothers were in Tihar jail for a year or so. And after that, finally, what happened?
Yes.
Court
Yeah,
gave order that
also.
you can pay some crores of rupees and your punishment can be waived.
Yes. In Amri
Yeah.
case also, Calcutta Amri Hospital case also.
Amri Hospital, I was there in the investigation.
Hmm.
Okay. It was
Yeah.
rather initially a one-man committee. And Calcutta Bhattacharyya sir, with due respect to you and many Bengalis here, when there's a family of 10, they can make a small union there. And there to go and conduct an inquiry is not so easy. But Amri Hospital was not a high-rise building. It was 7-storied building.
Yes.
And the trajectory is this, that the three times there's an alarm. And the security guard, those were sleeping.
Main door was locked. They are not allowed to come.
That is a false alarm, and they went and fixed that in the control panel. So 3 times. And when the fire got aggravated, then it became the challenge. And of course, the narrow street and the bazaar streets and those things. And people were really, those who have gone to save their life, they were jumping from the windows. If you still go back, and the public memory is short.
Yes.
Amri Hospital, Kumbakonam School Fire Hospital, Upahar Fire, Dabawali Circus Fire, there's a Pendal Fire. So There are instances, but now we remember only Lucknow, Delhi, and few cases because our memory is short. We
Memory
forget the
faded.
past. Our media also people call me and they ask the journalist many times they want that bite and they ask, "Sir, what is the provision in the law?" I said, "Bloody fool, you don't read anything and you treat me as a back end this thing or so you read first what is the provision. If you have any
Good.
difficulty, you ask me." But now a lot of media people also have started reading it because of that kind of approach. Otherwise, the government officials and we are little scared of media
Correct, sir.
unless we have our
So,
own media channels, like today what we have in our country. Otherwise, people are scared of media. But I used to tell you are responsible to read what is the provision. You are responsible to attend the webinars. You are responsible to attend the press conferences which I conduct. We give elaborate presentations to you people in your Press Club of India and Press Club of Mumbai. So that you have to see. It is a journalism that you have to have the education first and then the questions. But now some journalists they are very serious about it. That's a good thing.
right, sir. It's great
Thank you, sir.
to know
Very
all these
interesting.
things.
Sir, there's one follow-up question, Bhattacharya sir, on this. Is compartmentation required for an ordinary storage warehouse?
See, yes, compactation and
Yes.
segregation is required in a warehouses. Okay. Now, nowadays, due to the rampant e-cut businesses and all, these warehouses, they are categorized it. They are sometimes they are storing the combustible materials, sometimes the normal this thing. But if you see the Amazon warehouse checklist, I have seen the Amazon warehouse checklist, they have the clear compartmentation of this for the storing of the material. Yes, it is required.
Okay, the compartmentation is becomes a challenge for the bigger warehouses. Like what we call now the logistic parks. The logistic parks, huge trucks can move inside for the unloading the material, and there is a mechanized system to store those materials into the proper storages and then to draw those with the automatic system. So there we have said if you have hazardous classification of goods, then you should have compartmentation. Second thing, the travel distance in earlier NBC was a challenge. The travel distance for the warehouses was 30 meters. With sprinkler, it was 45 meters, like that. What is the purpose of, we discussed and we decided, what is the purpose of the travel distance? If you heard of travel distance, is the distance in line with the travel. It is not a geographically drawn travel distance. The line of travel from your place of work or the place of operations, you can exit to the nearest safe exit from the warehouse or
Yes.
from any building. So for residential building, it was 22 meters earlier. And with the sprinklers, we were giving discounting of 50% more.
Good person.
So warehouses, I said, it is not possible to have so many holes in that warehouse, so many exits in that warehouse. So otherwise, it becomes very difficult also from the other operations, security, safety point of view. So I said, your height is 20 meters, 26 meters. So why we provide travel distance? That the breathable space and the time for people to get out of it. And that time, if you are providing by having such a huge height, then the smoke is going to travel upwards. And when the smoke travels upwards, obviously you get a lot of time to get out. So it is now we have put on a performance-based analysis where we
Yes.
can create the smoke dynamics. There are computer modeling available on that. And on the basis of that, experts can recommend that this is the travel distance and authority should get convinced and accordingly. For factories also, we have done the same. Like
Sir, I have
earlier
seen
when
travel
the
distance, Deshmukh sir, to add you, I have
yeah,
seen this very big, huge warehouses at outskirts of Bangalore. They have mentioned almost 75 to 80 meters as a travel distance.
that's
And
right
hei-
actually because I
height
agree with
is
them.
height of the particular warehouse is almost 26 meter.
Exactly. The smoke, heat,
Oh,
all this going to travel upward. So
ah,
people will get breathable time. So that is a logical. Even
ah,
in
and
Maharashtra, I was facing Bhattacharya sahab the difficulty The all automobile manufacturers, they were coming into Pune, around fringe areas of Pune. So how you robotic operations of the automobile manufacturing, how can you insist on a travel distance? But their roof height is so much, the occupancy load is minimal people are there, the entire robotic operation, and we insist something which is not logical, which is not in congruence with the international standards. And then we have to see that we want the growth, we want industries, we want warehousing, we want the hotels, we want everything. But we have to see that what is the logic. For everything, there's a logic. Illogically, we insist on certain things, then the people, then the law becomes oppressive, then people try to pave the way out of the law.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
also
right,
not
sir,
good.
right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, a lot of discussion on this, Jayant. I think we should move forward because
Yes, sir, we should. Yeah, otherwise. Yep. I think there are already a lot of questions. People are eagerly waiting that we start talking about NBC 2020, 2016 versus NBCS 2026. Tushar, is this the right slide or? Okay, sir, Deshmukh sir, if you can, rather I would say rather we do other ways. Bhattacharya sir, you've been part of 2016, so why don't you start from NBC
right.
2016, and then I
So
request.
now I'm a bit scared speaking in front of the convener of 2026. A bit old. So correct. Joke apart, this NBC 2016s, when we formed, we had almost uh, 55 to 60 meetings actually. Okay. And our base document was NBC 2005 and some of the NFPA codes and all. Now, the difference between 2005 and 2016 is that we have introduced in 2016 two more chapters, actually. One is approach to sustainability and other was a property management initiatives. So that was the requirement for this times, okay, because that time, if you see in Gurugram and Mumbai and other cosmopolitan cities and all, lot of property business management companies after 2005, they have entered in the market. If you see name like CBRE, JLL, Kusman and all, they are on. So this uh, facility management group or property management group, they had a demand. There should be some direction, there should be some guideline for them to maintain the property. Now the result is just few minutes back, Deshmukh sir has told, in Mumbai, that property management group is giving the assurance the system is maintained. On that basis, they are getting the NOC. This is actually the route is here. So now as it is part 3 is a general building layouts, part 4 is a life safety. Then some of the provisions in NBC 16 was given like facade. UK fire, there was a fire in UK that time. So as facade and lot of buildings in Bangalore, Gurgaon, Delhi and Mumbai, the uses of facade. So that time, earlier in 2005, there is no provision of the facade safety, facade fire safety. So this has introduced. Then one more new thing has come, the metro rail and railway station fire safety. In earlier provision, it was not there, but that is included on 2016 because of the need of the people. That is actually the NBC 16. Now you see the SS60, there's a 3 different portion actually in part 4. Part 3 is a general building layout, setback areas and all. Then one more thing as a very significant on 2016 is the provision for the specially challenged people. After that RPWD Act 2005, that was a requirement for the buildings, how we can modify our building to facilitating the movement of the specially able people, जो दिव्यांग जन बोलता है उनके लिए, that is the provision is there. Now 2015 at this thing. So in part 4, this is basically the fire safety, these things. Okay. So here also 3 things are there: fire prevention, fire protection, and life safeties. I have seen someone has raised one questions that in Karnataka, in offices, 40% people should be trained in the fire safety. Yes, it is there in Karnataka. I had a big discussion then. DG Fire Karnataka Chingappa sir. So I had a big discussion with him why 40%, but it's logical actually, and we did it. So this is actually the nutshell of NBC 16. Now further elaborate and you can enlighten Deshmukh sir, who has drafted this NBC 2026.
2016 also there was a core committee was there of only 8 people. And I was a member of that committee as well. And our codes are democratic. Democratic in the sense there's a lot of lobbying happens, then some people have different interest. So we go by the general majority opinion and the code is finalized. That is how is the system. Whereas the international codes, NFP, yes, it is partially democratic, but it has a base of the research. What research? Say, for example, the warehouse fires or any type of fire, not a data center fire. This FM, the factory mutual, they are basically principally an insurance company. But they have set up labs and even underwriter laboratories. They have also set up few labs, good number of labs rather. And in the lab, they test the live scenario of the fire, how the fire will behave, what will be the challenges and all that. On the basis of that, the codes and standards are churned out. Here we are doing the partially a borrowing. That brings a little research approach. The rest all we are borrowing from different countries and then our own problems and our own challenges, being a so-called developing country. So this is how is our approach. Now in 2026, 70 to 60 in all versions, if you see, there was some upgradation. 2026 also we have done some upgradation. For example, we have got the gravity-based fire systems. Option we have given. Gravity-based in the sense, instead of putting those huge pumps and the pump rooms and those things, we have said, okay, we will give a big overhead tank, and through the overhead tank, by gravity, you will get so much pressure that you need not to invest so much on the pumps. However, you will require your own domestic pumps to feed the overhead tanks. So that new approach we got. Marginal spaces, or what we call is the setback areas in general. The gravity base, I told you how it works. And then now say, for example, the 70-meter tall building. It is going to give me a huge, I had to put the pressure reducing walls to reduce the pressure if the water is coming from the top. And then why I should do that? Pumping, then the alternative pump, then the jockey pump, and then the pump has to work in case of an emergency. So I am depending on the feeding base rather than the gravity is more assured. That is what one thing we found. Second thing is the setback areas. Setback areas, unfortunately, this time we have left that to the local authorities, state authorities and the local bodies. So that is something wrong. We were expecting, like the 2016, you give what should be the benchmark. What is the logic of the setback areas? But somehow there was, I don't know what is the reason for the government to insist for, and then we were forced to accept. So that we accepted, the government decided to, we have not accepted, but the government finally decided that we'll go leave it to the local planning authorities and the state urban local bodies and the local bylaws and local development control rules and the fire authorities. So this major change is done. Otherwise, the major good change in the 2026 is the performance-based fire safety. And performance-based fire safety is being followed globally in the most developed countries. India, it was lacking. So that we have brought in. Now the challenge before the authorities will be, like we have got the licensed contractors, then the licensed auditors. Like that, we have to bring in the licensed consultants also under the Act. The reason for that, in London, I studied that they got a building control department. And building control department, the different type of engineering services, there's a fire engineer also sitting there. And together they scrutinize the plans and thereby they give the approval to those plans. So similarly, we'll have to do that. Otherwise, it will be desk to desk, authority to authority. These files will keep on rolling. So that will have to. And these consultants, once they give their calculations, working, why this, why not that they study and then they finally accept. But tomorrow, if there is a contingency and the matter goes before the court of laws, then they hold the consultant also as responsible. In India, no consultant is responsible. And the consultants, majority of the consultants in India, they work as the licensing agencies for getting only those approvals. So that is a mockery here. So that is need to be done. Now, another model that I studied in New York, FDNY, they got an independent fire prevention bureau. That time about 150 people were there and they were from different engineering branches, not only from fire, nuclear, petroleum, you name the branch and they were experts sitting there and they were scrutinizing the building plan. The fire department's responsibility was to fight the fires, and if they find any anomaly, anything wrong that the fire prevention bureau has done, then the responsibility will come to the fire prevention bureau. But the beauty there is that, if anybody found in violation or responsible or who has compromised with the law, they are immediately pulled before the courts. Fast track inquiries are there and there are severe actions on them. Here, unfortunately, that kind of a mechanism, when it will come, that only the young generation can tell me. I don't know now. So we are already ready with the passport and waiting for the visas, actually. We are that generation.
Yeah, sir.
So,
correct, sir.
Yeah. So this is one more challenge. Third thing that I see, good part of the new building code is there is a lot of freeway given, and the self-certification is one more thing that we have got. That is again a debatable topic, self-certification. Who will give that? Now, can anybody, owner or the occupier, give the fire safety certificate, a self-certification? And authorities should go and check randomly how it will happen. Structural engineering, will they give the... So I have given a suggestion that you hold the architect as a nodal agency. But architect is basically not a very great engineering branch. They are into aesthetics of the building, utility of the building, comfort of the user of the building. Their major development is on that subject. So they should, one architect is always required to a building. So they should be the nodal agency and they should take the permissions from the different agencies, structural, fire, plumbing, whatever required. And then he should compile that and he should submit to the authority. But that self-certification is okay. But then self-certification by the owner or occupier, it is, people appears to be very sound, but then whether they will be really competent to give such self-certification is a challenge. So these are the highlights of the 26. It is an elaborate document. It is available there free of cost on the BIS portal. So people can download it, read it. And if there are any questions, they can fire those questions even on email. What best we can answer, we'll definitely answer. Thank you so much.
Sir, I'll go back to Bhattacharyya sir, and so you said about Karnataka that 40% people should be aware about.
Sorry, before
Bhattacharyya
sir gives his expert views on that, because he has studied Karnataka model. See, in our NBC also we have a provision for the proper documentation is given as to how to conduct the evacuation drill in case of a fire. Number one. Second thing, every floor, there should be a floor or maybe 2 floors, there should be one fire warden and one deputy fire warden. And the procedure of evacuation, daily head count of the people inside the building. Then after the people are evacuated, how many people are evacuated, how many people are inside. Most of the places now the biometric attendance is there, but people do that attendance in the morning and evening. In between they go out. So that needs to be improved upon, so that the entire evacuation drill procedure is given. Second thing is that in case of fire, we expect the locals to participate in extinguishment of fire when the fire is at a very incipient stage. For that, the percentage of people, 40% or 10% is a, again, challenge, but okay, Karnataka has taken that model. But globally, there is nothing like that 40%. Every occupant on the building has to have a basic training, like in a shipping corporation or the shipping activity. Every salesperson, a selling person, a seaman they call, seaman has to compulsory undergo the firefighting training.
Yes.
Because when the huge ship is having some problem, whosoever locates the fire, he has to do something first aid. Immediately, he has
Yes.
to use extinguisher or whatever, and he has to quench the fire at its incipient stage. Now, 40% people, okay, they have at least made some baby step, I would say. That 40% is a big step rather. But Karnataka also very recently, we went to Karnataka to study this model. But what we did, we didn't go to the authorities. We went to randomly to some buildings, IT buildings and all that, and we talked to the people and the management. How many people are trained in firefighting? The number was very, very low, very low.
But sir,
So,
there is a NOC condition. I agree with you. There is a NOC for Karnataka government fire NOC. There is a condition. The people 40% occupants should train in fire and safety. That too, they are mentioned. Their training academy, Mudulkar Road, something in
I
Bangalore.
know, I've been there.
So
Yes.
what happened? I had a big discussion with Chengappa sir, who was DG. You know very well. Then I
I know
asked,
him.
then I asked him, sir, why 40%? Why not 30%? Why not 10%? Why not 50%? What is the logic between 40%? So he said that what we consider at a given time, any point of time, 40% people should be available at any office. That is why it is this. So don't know, but we actually followed that and got the license for our company buildings. So this is actually the procedure. Jayant, you are asking something.
Sir, now I'm asking a practical question now. Sir, achieving it is difficult, but how do you, in an organization, what are the tips which you can give anyone?
So it's not a very challenging task what we did because I was instrumental for getting fire safety license or NOC. One airport, Bangalore International Airport, almost 10 to 12 high-rise building belongs to GE, belongs to Bosch. So it's not difficult. What we did practically, we have taken a list of the people. Then we went to director training of the KF areas, Karnataka Fire and Emergency Services. Then we paid some fees to them. Okay. Then we requested their instructor to come to our facility. Then at a time, a batch of 100 or 150 people. So there is a first half, it is a theoretical training. Second half is a practical training. So we paid the fees for each individual, maybe some 300, 400 rupees, I think I remember it. Then we invited them to our office, some section officers, some fire officers, sometime one regional officer used to visit us. They used to impart us training. That is why we compiled the same. Only thing we have to pay the fees for each individual and get the endorsement with all the attendance list and certificate of the divisional fire officers who used to submit for getting the NOC. This is the procedure we have followed.
And so this training has to be done on a recurring basis because there will be attrition. Today, the people who are attending the training, maybe next year.
Again, I'll go back to the Deshmukh sir only because today you are submitting this thing, you are getting the NOC. When the next time you will go for the renewal, again they will ask the same questions. Okay, but it is once in 3 years.
Okay.
See, more complicated provisions we prescribe. The NOC documents become more heavy,
Yeah.
And people try to pave the way. You are the kind of building you are talking like Wipro, GE, Infosys, and all that. They may, a few names I have taken, maybe airport also. They may follow in totality and do it because the airport itself has a huge trained staff.
See,
as
airport
per the ICA.
we followed the different procedure because we had the NFSC trained people are there. So they are
People,
sub
yeah,
office,
people are.
sub
That is why I
officer,
say
divisional officer. So they used to
that is
train
because
certify us. So that basis we got it.
that is because the International Aviation Guidelines, ICAO guidelines, they mandate every airport has to have so much of staff and all that. So
Yes, yes,
DGCA also has a regulation under that. So
yes,
airport
yes.
is a different, but airport now the occupancy load of the airport is very heavy.
Sir,
So you say
now
40% people, wait, people, and thousand of commuters are getting through that airport. Who will ensure that our 40%, the employees 40%, or those porters 40%, or these commuters? So it becomes, see what I say, the mass awareness and continuous that responsibility to be given to the authority. There are n number of private training institutes also. There has to be will. Now,
yes,
same
sir.
law graduate pass out through the same college, and one is earning maybe after 10 years of practice, maybe a crore of rupees minimum. Other is
Yeah.
just doing the affidavit. So it's a learning desire that we have to inculcate, learning curve that we have to sustain, and then that mainly the awareness rather than the planning and planning. We need to know the purpose. And the purpose and the consequences are made known to people. People so moto come out and things happen. But
Yeah.
we have to have that will, right from the top to bottom. That will matters the most.
Yeah. So recently, Deshmukh sir, I did
Yeah.
fire NSC for one of the client of Lorbit. This not an international airport. So I did for this fire NOC. Now slightly bit change. For terminal building, there is a fire NOC. Taking into consideration, terminal building is a assembly building. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Then the operationals area, we are following the DGCA, what you said,
Yes.
DGCA regulation, fire safety or ICAO annexure 40. So we did this thing. But terminal building, as a terminal buildings called, so it is categorized as a assembly building, and 40% people is not the passenger, is the only those who are permanently occupying it. Great. So move forward. Then it's a big discussion. We can take hours together to speak.
So, Bhattacharya sir, coming again back to you to start this one. Now, I think this is one area which we spoke a lot in, at least in spirit, and that's what Deshmukh sir was also mentioning. Would you want to elaborate more on this?
See, the preventive measures. So if you go again, this is NBC is in our blood now. If you go to the Bible, so there is a provision, there is a part 4, fire prevention, fire protection, and life safety. Preventive measures, so we should move from the reactive to the resilience model. Actually, this reactive means when this thing is already happened, that time it is not actually the preventive. This is actually the action mode. Okay. Now we come this access, prevent, protect, and that we have to prevent it and we have to prepare for it actually rather than the fighting is. So as a fire safety professionals or the safety professional, we always want, we should be very proactive that fire should not happen. If it is happened, there is a loss of property, there is a loss of human life, this is an interruption of the business, lot many things will happen. So why to face all these things? So better is a preventive measures. Now preventive measures means first of all you should because these very wise people and very thoughtfully people are prepared the conditions of the fire NOC. If you are fulfilling the conditions, that means you are already fulfilling the preventive measures. What are the preventive measures? After the preventive measures, if you are sustaining this preventive measures, then you are safe. Or a worst case scenario, you have to prepare for the worst also. In that case, your fire protection works. When fire protection works, when this actual fire takes place. After that takes place, second things comes is a life safety. Third things comes is a life safety. How you will protect your people. So life safety is paramount. We are giving preference life safety before the property protection. So we should prepare how to, you see the firefighters, they are taking uh, their they are sacrificing their life to protect this. If you have seen the World Trade Center case, you have seen the Taj Hotel case, there are many instances where firefighters, they are sacrificing their life for saving the people. So now the fire prevention is plays the critical role. And then second is when the fire prevention fails, then your fire protection comes into action. During the fire protection, how it will play to save your human life. Now the management, what management should monitor, they should prepare for the fire protection or fire prevention system. Then at regular interval, they will check the worthiness, they verify their system, then they should maintain it. This is the one. Now, fire safe commercial establishment, what you have written, people, premises, and the system. The people is a paramount who are visiting your system. Then how your premises are safe, how your system is work. If you take it's all these things in control, like excess risk, when you are see we how we are not in Indian conditions, we are not very alert. Now we all are visiting shopping malls, we all are visiting high-rise building. The moment you are entering the shopping mall, very less people are looking or identifying the emergency exit. Okay. In case some fire breaks out or some huge engulfment of the smoke, they should know where actually the exit route, how and where it leads. So, but there 90% people fail to identify the exit. So this is a learning for us. So we have to, wherever we go, assess the risk and this thing, then maintain safe means of escape. The means of escape means it's a free corridor, staircases, well, this thing, and smoke venting system at the staircases. So these are the things we should not encroach. Many places it is encroached with the dumping, accumulation of combustible material and all. Then test and maintain your system, whatever you have, your fire hydrant system, your pump hose, your sprinkling system, your detection system, your smoke binding system, pressurization system. It should be maintained, this thing. And nowadays, one more thing is that air changing in basement where the vehicle parks there. Then control ignition and fuel sources. So as much as you have to isolate the combustible material, you have to segregate it, prepare people to respond. Here the training part comes. So as Deshmukh sir has mentioned previously, that there is a clear cut when at what interval you should do the mock-up drill, what are the drill, what is the fire order. These are the things you have to teach people. Then verify compliance constantly. So there are many malls, there are many hotels I have seen, many pictures of halls I have seen, especially this PVR and all. They have their own system, they have own people, they are maintaining and verifying. If you want to resilient on these fire preventive measures, we have to be reactive and we have to be proactive to address all these things where what are the things is mentioned here.
Sorry, Deshmukh sir, you want to add something here?
I think he has elaborated enough, and we have paucity of time also. So we'll go to the few further slides.
Right, sir. And I think this is where a lot of questions that are coming in the chat box. This is one slide which people are kind of referring to. Which, I think this one slide elaborates a lot about what are essential requirement as an organization, as a business, but what we have to focus on a monthly operational readiness perspective, or a functional operational perspective, or a compliance and certification perspective. I think maybe Deshmukh sir, if you can, you want to add while this slide it's too heavy on the content, but it's important to put the right content also. But you want to give your perspective also here, so.
Which I mentioned in my previous talk, that because of the provisions in our law, most of the occupancies here in Maharashtra, they are giving the annual maintenance contract. In the annual maintenance contract, there is a schedule with these contractors given by the owners, occupiers. That schedule depends on the type of occupancy. residential, it could be less frequency, and commercial, it could be little more, and hazardous buildings, it could be again little more. High-rise buildings, it can be still more. So like that, it is there. One is a schedule. Then the compliance certification, which we said that we don't believe in the annual. We believe that every 6 months, the owner should give a certificate of the fitness of the system from the licensed fire contractor. And now we have issued one operative circular saying that they have to take the proper photographs, no manipulation, everything. Third, that we are bringing that IoT-based system, because human dependency on the people, that becomes sometimes a challenge, because everybody doesn't have the time to look at all those things. But if there is a trigger, it is like a BMS system, building management system, but a very small part of the BMS system. So if there's a trigger, there could be a action on that. And if this checklist, yes, is there, you can draw it from our website also, what is to be checked, how it is to be checked. That checklist is there on our website, or I can later on share with you on an email, which you can distribute or circulate to our participants. But checklist, minor things also we have covered. Now again, for the audit purpose, we are making another checklist. So that audit purpose, the auditor's responsibility, section 45 of our act, we have added one more, the 45A, and we have made the statutory auditor's provision. This is how the inspection, there is no such schedule. Of course, in the BIS standards for extinguishers or such equipment, there is a schedule given. At what interval it should be checked, what should be the deviation that they should notice. If there's a deviation, what corrective action they should take, that all is there. But this is how we do here.
Yeah, for the interest of the viewers, these are the checklists they will get in NBC 2016 part 12 in property management. This thing, all the checklists are there.
Thank you, sir. And Trishul, if you can share on the chat box the website link Deshmukh sir mentioned. So you viewers can view this also, and once we receive the checklist from Deshmukh sir, we'll also share with everyone, whoever is registered for this webinar, so that they can refer back to this. I think that's a very detailed one. Now, I think just one thing I want to add to if you just go back quickly, Manji. So see, what important thing I have seen, we normally, my experience is, unless and it's a factory, very specific people are have been made responsible for fire safety and those audits on a regular basis, but it becomes the responsibility of no one. That's a challenge which where what typically I've seen in the in the fire incidences, and I would say it's just for the large enterprises, because their responsibility metrics are clearly defined. But most of the fire incidents cases that you would normally see would happen in condominiums, in shopping complexes, and ROI said the Lucknow cases we have seen. I think somebody gave me a very, very beautiful example once. He said, when we drive, we don't drive with our with the learning. We drive with the reflexes. We automatically know, if somebody is coming from the right or the left, with the split seconds, we take a decision and, we save ourselves. And that's when, we are able to drive for lakhs and lakhs of kilometers in our lifespan. I think the fire safety also has to come into the reflexes. When I say checklist, I think this more and more we have these checklists handy with us, displayed at the right places, given in the hands of the right people. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but if it gets into reflexes, you will end up noticing it. You'll automatically end up noticing there's something wrong, and the corrective actions can be taken. I think this checklist should not remain in one person's email ID, in mailboxes or some folders. Maybe a proper printout can be taken out, multiple copies can be made and given to the right people, displayed on the right places so that, as I said, 40% people, but Deshmukh said every person has to be trained. Even if the training isn't there, but at least with this checklist, some bit of a reflexes, if it can start working, that may possibly save some unforeseen incidents.
True.
Training of, sorry for the interruption, training of two types. One is if you locate the fire or you notice the fire, immediately take some action. The immediate action should be the alert the people in the surrounding. Number two is that the rather than playing too much with the doing the adventure of extinguishing the fire, find the escape routes and get out of the building. Life is more precious. Properties can be insured and they can be rebuilt, but life cannot be revived. So proper escape routes. So evacuation drill, they call it a mock drill. You may be knowing the Bangalore case itself, Bhattacharyya sir, uh, about 15, 16 years. They conducted a mock drill. This all fire trucks coming with siren, police coming, ambulances coming. This whole tamasha going on, and one girl was being rescued, young girl of some
Drop.
25, 28 years, building, young girl. She was
Yes,
rescued by using the rope from the top of the building. And
Yes.
in between the rope got cut and that poor lady died while conducting the mock drill. So I said, you
Yes.
remove this jargon mock drill. You just see the safe evacuation drill. And globally also they call it evacuation drill. Nothing called as a mock drill. Mock drills could be with the defense services and all those, the expeditions they do. There could be a mock drill. But here we cannot do the mock drill. So
Now it is a evacuation drill. We are
safe
calling it
evacuation,
evacuation drill.
timely evacuation, and organized evacuation. People start running. Second thing, during the fire, people start looking for where is my passport, where is my money, where is my wallet, how do I get out of the building? But you get out. As long as you're okay, everything will be okay. So this is how the tendency, even
Some
one of the
people will-
footage that you must have seen of an airline. In the airline also people are concerned to get out. In the emergency they were, and the other airline they showed, the Japanese airline, people have swiftly got out. Swiftly getting out of the occupancy is very, very important. So that kind of a training and development will really help people, and that is what now we have started inculcating.
So
For
one
public
more thing,
awareness, I wanted to say a few words. Sorry, I'm taking a couple of minutes. Public awareness, we have started the drawing competitions of the children. We have started the essay competitions of the children. We give them the state level awards, rewards. Then we started the industrial fire drills. So Maharashtra, the industries from Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and other states also come for participating because they get that platform. And when the industry has to compete, and industrial employees, I'm not talking their fire crews, the industry's employees, they come and compete. So there is a spirit that he went there and he learned, and this is what was provided for him. And then it's a very good thing. It's a fun plus some acquiring of some information knowledge. So people are eager to participate in such competition drills. That also is the awareness mechanism we started.
So now,
Yes,
Jan,
please.
to add, Deshmukh sir, this evacuation drill, it is not only for fire, but nowadays it can be used for medical emergencies, for bomb
Yes.
threat, for other also man-made emergencies, terrorist attack after the Mumbai incident we learned. So that is why now in industry, sir is right. This mock drill actually bit eliminated. Now we are calling it is as a evacuation drill. Even last year I attended National Civil Defense College drill at Nagpur as a observer. So different scenario. So for viewers, I'm telling it is not only for fire, for other types of emergency, either a natural emergency and for man-made emergency, it's a widely called as evacuation drill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was, in fact, the wording it correctly sometimes do the magic, and I think you rightly said it should not be called a mock drill, because mock drill, most of the time I've seen, specifically in the corporates buildings here in, that's a paid holiday. So, there's a fire drill happening, so I can go and do my, lunch and my, other errands I can attend to. But evacuation drill, yeah, it's the right wording. It's, I think we should start using it. Yeah,
We started using from the previous NBC, if you see, it is this wording has come because the Disaster Management Act came in India 2005, And under that, there's a National Disaster Management Authority, and every state has a State Disaster Management Authority. There are majority of the people deployed there are the paramilitary forces, and they made the jargon popular. Otherwise, we as a fire professionals, we believe in evacuation drill only. But they got a better media management, so everything is something new and attractive, or say thrilling to the people, that becomes attractive in our country, which day in, day out we see on the social media and the other media.
So on the lighter note, sir, with the Gen Z population, you'll have to coin a more funkier word. I don't know what you will call this, so that you can attract them also to be a part of it.
No, you already started. You have started a good exercise, good initiative.
Sir, another 3 minutes. Jayan, move.
Yes. So, Deshmukh sir, you want to talk on this, or Bhattacharya sir, you would?
Stated to close by Deshmukh sir.
Okay. See, the compliance audit model, there only we generally see the building plan from the perspective of the evacuation, what we are talking about, the means of exit, means of egress, how that should be done. That all we go and see that plan, or they submit the plan to us. Then the active systems. Active systems also after a year or 2 or 3 years. If anybody of you know any underground leakage detection system fellow, kindly refer the contacts to me. There are many cases coming up that the underground pipes are laid and subsequently they are found with a leakage because of the quality of workmanship, quality of material, what's the reason? And then the pressure drops. So this hydro test, that is very important. Then the addressable loop checks, that is in the mainly detection system. So addressable detector is the detector where control panel comes to know which detector is activated. And there's an address given in number or whatever. So these addressable loop checks, they are periodically required. Aerosol is actually not as per the standards. Deploy aerosol test cans. The aerosol in India is not, but as you can correct me. It is
No,
none of
aerosol is not there
none of the
nowadays.
standards they have
No.
approved it.
No.
Then the operational drills. This is what exactly we see the plan, their evacuation drill plans and how they conduct, what is the frequency, have they maintained any records for conducting such drills, what is the result, what is the finding, what were the non-conformities, what work they have done for bringing those conformities. Those are the important things. And escalation matrix, what we call. That if something is happening right or wrong, then to whom it is to be escalated, first level, second level, third level, everything cannot go to the CEO or the top man of the company. So there has to be hierarchy set up, and the executive escalation is, or the escalation matrix is very important. So what you have narrated is very nice. I'm really surprised. These are the lawyers, they have prepared this kind of presentation and the documentation. Actually, they should join fire services, and some of us, we should get into the legal field actually. So it's a compliment.
So
Now here in the top, you have given the document review, physical walk down, and then the functional testing and people testing. So these are also the people testing is mainly due to, now there are physically challenged people. Now how to evacuate them? There are specific provisions given how to evacuate them. So these are very important things that we should go read the provisions and discuss time and again and educate people. All of you, those are participating today here, my humble request to you, at least put one fire extinguisher in your apartment or the residence where you are living. One near the kitchen and one in the center of the house, depending on the size of the house. And make it very simple. Just for a weekend, just discuss with the family. My own experience, I'll tell you. I got these 4 extinguishers in my flat, and my wife was quite irritated because we are the people, we are worried about more of the aesthetics. And where it was put, this is said it's not the right place to put. क्या आने के बाद भी क्या फायर का extinguisher? Why you feel shy of? There's an earning on which we are surviving for so many years, that the profession. So one day I was on a tour, and when I came, they called one carpenter, they created one niche prepared, and in that it was concealed. So this is the psychology of the we all people, here. So all of you go home, buy. I am not a marketeer or I am not marketing any brand, but my experience with ceasefire for home use is the best extinguisher which I have seen. But you can choose. Now there's a Google and so many other platforms available. Discuss over a weekend with a family in a society or apartment or the company where you are, not company, but housing societies and other places. The sleeping accommodations are very dangerous. Generally, bad things happen during midnight, except the procreation. So always see that the families are safe, you all are safe, and learn this subject only to operate one extinguisher, the simplest job. And now you don't have to choose. Earlier, whether the water based, dry powder, which type of nowadays there are multifaceted single extinguisher is multi-use extinguishers. You should have it. If you have kitchens, take care that the kitchen also, when you are doing frying or this kind of big jobs during the festival times and all that, take care. Third thing is the crackers is a major culprit. This is out of syllabus I'm talking, I'm sorry. So crackers, one has to take care. Crackers, you allow your children to play crackers. I don't mind. I'm not so environmentalist and all that. But I enjoyed that in childhood, and today children wants to play. When they are grown up, they will also not like to play it. But if they want to play, just see that the basic safety is followed, and they are wearing suti kapde, cotton clothes. The adults are scouting them, escorting them. Those precautions you take. And the frying pans is a more dangerous thing when the oil, actually the edible oil is not that fire sensitive, or the flash point is very, very low. But when it is hot and it gets converted into vapors, with a small ignition, it will immediately flare up. So just see some videos available on different websites in India, and FireSafe India also has published few. So you just put some lid on that and the fire will be brought under control. Ladies,
Right.
when they are in the kitchen during the festival time, they wear all this synthetic fibers, synthetic saris and those things. So those cares to be taken. At least few of us we start this good journey, a service to self, service to families, and service to the nation in ultimate. So that will be a very fruitful effort of Mr. Jayant and his team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Then I think I'm going to appreciate my team today. They really put in a good words, and this appreciation coming from you sounds like a music, and we should have really got deeper into it. Thank you so much, sir.
So this also 30 days, 31 days, 60 to 60, 30, 60, 90 matrix we call it. So this is a good matrix, and ultimately losses due to the fire sometimes are less as compared to the loss due to the business continuity. And for that purpose, we have to have some matrix according to our occupancy type and the organization, and we should try to bring in. Here also, I will request team to remove that word as a mock drill and replace with the evacuation drill, please. So this is a very good matrix. Globally, this is followed because business continuity is a major challenge. And then the indirect losses are huge if that is not done. So this is a good thing done. Yes, sir.
See, the post fire response and recovery, it's a very tough job actually, because on my personal experience, I'm telling you, it's a very, very tough job. See, protect life and alarm. So first 15 minutes, the golden times, 10 to 15 minutes, and we take it less also. So the moment you are activating your emergency response plan, that means you are calling state fire brigade. Sometimes you are pulling the MCP to notify the people. Sometimes there are many factories and many organizations, they do have their own fire safety team and first aid team. They have command and control center, firefighting team, first aid team and all. So first 15 minutes is a very, very important. As previously Deshmukh sir has told, do not do any adventure. If you can extinguish it, you use the fire extinguishers. If you feel you cannot do it, please don't do it. Leave it. it's better to notify the people, raise alarm, or pull the NCP, inform people, call State Fire Brigade, because those who are expert. See here now, actually, it is actually real, not, it is actually the real thing, not the real. So don't become hero if you don't know these things. Then command preserve scene, so firefighting start as soon as. At lot many occasions I have seen the onlookers, the employees, they are blocking the way of the fire tenders. They are gathered in front of the main gate. They are stopping and resisting the movement of the fire tenders. Actually, we should facilitate, enable the fire tender to come to support the fire service team. In one vehicle, there may be 4 to 5 firefighters. So we have to support them. If you are supporting them to pull the hose, connecting the hose, sometimes there's a big support for them, and show them the points where they will connect it. Then plans, so building plans also, you know your building, you know the evacuation plan, the where the staircase is and where the pump houses and all, you have to support them. Then notify the people and insurers all come, then preserve all the documents for the further every investigation, the documents. Then the damage, assess the damage for the insurer for the your company own perspective. Then investigations by the, if anything, if is there any uh, death case and all, then medical legal cases will happen. Then this all this state fire safety department and other police also investigate this thing. Then the challenge comes that after this all these things fire dozed off, there is no casualty, there is huge damage in science to bring back the originals. It's a very big challenge because with the carbon, your walls has gone, your roof ceiling, false ceiling has fallen, lot of mills and there, so it takes considerable time. But it is always to do all these things, recheck, reestablish, then restart. Check all the as it was. So this is a complete journey, and for investigation, this root cause, kappa, faulty analysis, lot of things are. But it's a learning actually, whatever you have learned, you share with people also. But it's a recovery from post-fire incidents. So recovery is a journey actually. We have seen, I myself personally seen the touch hotel incident and other incident also. So it takes time and lot of efforts, lot of spending to bring back to the original. So my request to the viewers, do not allow to come to the situation, prevent it, then go for the recovery. It's actually preventable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I know we have over surplus of time.
Yeah.
Maybe there are a lot of questions, but I would see that possibly we'll have to skip those questions today. But most of it, I would say, sir, you have already covered as a part of the discussions. More to but there are now some few of them which are going very deeper into the discussions. Sir, Deshmukh sir, any closing remarks which from your side?
Closing remark as such, I mentioned earlier that take care of yourself. First, self-safety is the most important, then you can save the life of others. Even I go to the anytime movie, etc., I don't see the center seat or this seat and that seat. I prefer the seat near the exit so that I think I get out first, so I can I can help others. So people say it's a perception developed due to the professional practice for so many years. And as a closing remark, as Mr. Jain mentioned about, see the blocking of the exit ways is a glaring example of the Carlton Tower building of Bangalore, where the Carlton Tower, the IT tower, and 13 engineers died. Unfortunately, you can Google out and see. 30, and at the last moment, they were screaming and they were sending their insurance number, etc., on the mobile to their families. You can imagine. So blocking one staircase has created, because the one staircase was already engulfed with the smoke and fire, and the other escape route was blocked for the security reason. Yeah, security reason. The door was locked. So we have to be very vigilant as to always think, in case of any emergency, how it could be not fire, it could be a earthquake, tremors, or anything. So in case of any such situation, how will I save myself? How would I save the people around me? So that mindset, if you develop, I think major issues are sorted out. But actually, this is a wrong, probably the right, may not be the right platform to talk on all these different issues and the practical experiences. Sometimes we can, but I would request Mr. Jain, one day you have this kind of a forum and only question answers, no discussion much, only question, maybe 10-15 minutes, Janji, you only can uh, do the ice breaking and then let them ask. That is 10 questions, 15 questions we can discuss in elaborate. I think people will be very happy because their challenge is, okay, you are talking about fire, this, that, but in compliances, what problem we face and there, this is the problem. What is the solution you recommend? That's the way if we can have it, it may be fruitful to the audience also. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
audience, for a
I
patient
agree.
hearing and
I agree with Deshmukh sir.
Lorbit
You can
also for
conduct a
organizing. Lorbit also
separate
organizing
session.
such a wonderful, wonderful program. So thanks to everyone.
No, I
Thank
think
Yes,
so,
sir.
sir. You rightly said. I think we should plan something like that, which will be more of an open forum. Maybe as a follow-up, we can definitely do that because the questions which we have here, and to all the viewers, my request: if you have more questions, please, you have our email IDs. You know the people, the account managers in Lorbit. Feel free to ask. Send those questions. Let us try and maybe list out some of them. And obviously, a lot of more FAQs we also know. Today, what is more of a structured thing, but we can definitely plan a more unstructured and an open forum as a follow-up. Uh, Deshmukh sir, thank you so much. And I would say that Bhattacharyya sir and Deshmukh sir, I would say that because
Thank you.
this is one area because this is for 39th webinar I think I'm doing. See, there we talk law, we talk subject, but this is one subject which touches our lives. I can think about my office where I'm sitting. I can think of my other office, other branch, my resident, my clients' workplaces, the factories where my team was just recently visited, and we did an audit also there. So this is this is one topic which hits very close to your heart and your personal lives also. I think there were a lot of learnings for me specifically, and few of them I'm going to take home. You rightly said about having a fire extinguisher at home. A friend of mine, he is working in a multinational. They are when I go to their home, he has a fire safety jacket. He's at his living room, very at a visible place, and a fire extinguisher. I said, "ये तुमने क्यों लगाया हुआ है?" He said, "This is a mandatory requirement from organization. All the senior management team has to install it at their home. It's a requirement from the organization for the senior folks
Yes.
to implement it at their home." So he was insisting to me also that you should also get it. While I randomly told my team to get me one fire extinguisher, but I never followed up after that. But I think I'm going to make sure at least we implement some of this in our daily life. But this is very, very important, sir. That one learning I think I'm going to take home, not just for office, but for my personal self also. Thank you, sir. It was
Thank you.
really a
Jai
delight.
Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Jai Hind.
Really a delight.
Jai
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, team. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.